Thank you for joining me at Designs of Value Online Art School today. We're going to talk about cleaning your brushes and the products that you need. You're going to want your palette paper, your Viva paper towels that are cut up, some of your brushes so that we can go through the process of cleaning them. I have a product here called lard oil. Mine's really old, as you can see, but it lasts a long time and it really keeps your brushes in shape. Sherry Rowell actually turned me onto this product and I love it. And then this is just your jar with a sponge cleaner on the bottom. You can pick these up at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, any of the other arts and craft stores that you may visit. And it has odorless turp inside. You want to make sure that you get odorless turpentine. You do not want to have that odor in your studio while you're painting. So I've got a couple brushes here. Some of them are clean, some of them are dirty. Start with the dirty ones. You can probably see I've got some paint on there. It's a little bit of blue. So I'm going to take my paper towel, and the first step is going to be to wipe out as much of that oil paint as possible before we start using any chemicals, before we start opening up any chemicals. Again, you don't want that odor in your studio any more than is necessary. So you want to do this until you see very little paint coming out of your brush. And mine is getting lighter and lighter as I go, so that's a good thing. Okay, so I've got that one done. Now I'm going to take the mop brush that I've used, and with the mop brushes, again, you just do the very tips. Again, you want to get as much paint out of there as possible. Now this mop's a little bit stiffer, but so it could take a little bit more wear and tear. But if that were one of the softer mops, I would be much more gentle with it than this. Brushes cost a lot of money, so you want to be very cautious with how you care for them. So very little paint coming out of either one of those two. So now I'm going to open up my odorless turp, and we'll go back to the flat. First thing I'm going to do is just dip it in right square down in the middle. Just get it wet. Bring it back to my paper towel and pull it through. Now you see all that paint that's still in there that's coming out. So we're going to do that one more time. And we'll continue to do this until we see very little paint. Now I'm not swishing it on the bottom. I'm not swishing it against the side. I'm at this point in time, I am just dipping it right in the center of that jar of liquid and pulling out as much paint as I can get out of there. Still got quite a bit of paint in there. It's amazing how much paint you have. Now you do go through a few paper towels here, so you want to make sure you have a nice supply. But see how much lighter it's getting? So that's telling me I'm getting quite a bit of that paint out of there. Turpentine does its job. Okay, so now I've gotten as much paint as I can by just dipping it in the center and getting it wet. Now I'm going to brush it along the bottom as gently as I can. You can see the odorless turp is turning color, so you know there's just a little bit of paint left in there. I'm going to push it up against the sides. Now I want to go to a clean paper towel because I want to be able to see if there's any paint coming out of there still. Now I do still have just a little bit in there. So I'm going to do that one more time. Okay, I'm not seeing any paint come out of there. My odorless turp is cloudy, so I know there was paint in there still. So there, I've gotten all the paint out of that one. Now I'm going to open up my jar here. I usually pour it right into the top and saturate the bristles. And what I mean by that is you just want to get them wet. That lard oil is going to keep those bristles moist. You also want to form it with your fingers like I'm doing here to bring that chisel edge back. The more you can keep that chisel edge again on your brushes, the longer your brushes will last. So form it through your fingers, make sure it's nice and saturated with the lard oil, and then that brush is clean. We'll set that one aside. Now this one, we've gotten as much of the turp or the paint out of there as we can. Now we're going to just dunk it into the turp and get as much of that liquid off of there as possible. And basically do the same thing. We're going to go through, I'm going to turn this over so we've got a clean side. See, there's still paint in there. So we're going to go through this process until we see no paint coming out of there. And I'm going to go to all clean paper towels here. Look at that. Okay, so I've gotten as much out by dipping as I can. And I'm just going to swish it around on the bottom. Again, let as much of that turp drip off as possible. You can even squish it up against the sides a little bit to get some of that excess out of there. Okay, so I've got this brush clean. As best as it's going to be. Now, I recommend with the other one that we just cleaned as well as this one is to hold them, if you can get a container, even in an acrylic water basin, you can put them upside down. Might have to hold the water basin up and push it up, but this will hold it down. Stay Palette, I think, or Stay Wet Palette, they have a product that'll hold it upside down for you. That way, if you're storing them this way, any liquid in that brush or bristle is going to go into that ferrule, and then this could get moist and it'll expand and crack. So you don't want to do that if at all possible. So you want to have your odorless turp in a jar, the sponge on the bottom with just the soft bristly hairs down there, and then your lard oil. And then I do actually just take my lard oil and put it right back in my jar. As you can tell, I've had this for many, many years. It lasts a long, long time. But Sherry Well turned me onto this process years ago, and it just has saved my brushes. You always want to keep your product as clean as possible. All right. So that's how you want to keep your brushes clean. It's going to save you a ton of money. You want to have a lot of paper towels on hand. You would do this one just like we did the other one, the larger one, the same process, same thing with this one. So thank you for joining me today with Designs of Value Online Art School. I know this is going to save you money with the brush cleaning, and you want to protect those brushes as best you can. Thank you so much.